Hello, everyone. This is Richard Keck and all things fantasy football. Coming to you live from the warehouse, as it appears down here. This is the kids' basement with all their toys over there. Coming at you with the Week 13 rankings, as well as we're going to talk about the upcoming Week 14 matchups that definitely have some playoff implications in play. Um, Coming in the playoffs, we have that extra week. So what we did was seed that 14th week, 1 versus 14. And then all the way down till the 7 and 8 teams playing each other. Hopefully, there's some playoff matchups on the line, and luckily for us, there are a couple. So let's get right to it. We're going to start with the 14th ranked team. Still unable to get things rolling is the Motor Boaters, coming in at 2-11. Got that number 1 draft pick in mind. So he hasn't been able to get any wins. All kinds of injuries. Probably not as many as I've had, but his happened at crucial times and just was never able to get on track. Should have a good team back. All these guys will be coming back next year. Looks like he's all but got the number 1 pick locked up, unless he pulls off the miracle win against the number 1 ranked team this week. But coming in at 2-11, only scored 926 points, pardon me, on the year, which is second worst in the entire league. Play all record of 26-142-1. He's not really going to beat a lot of teams. It's surprising he has 2 wins as it is. Playing for that draft pick this week. Don't expect a Motor Boaters victory come week 14. It seems like we're going to go through this the rankings fast. It's more so because I want to talk about the matchups coming up and potential playoff implications for the week. So we're going to roll right into the number 13 team. That will be the Hung Like Hernandez team, coming in at 3-10. Doesn't have his draft pick for next year, so not necessarily playing for the draft pick, but doesn't have a lot of horses in the stable. So I don't expect a win this week against the number 2 seeded team coming into this week. He has a 22-146-1 play-all record, worst in the league. Scored 858 points this year, worst in the league. So don't expect much. This team from the get-go has been playing for 2023. Has a couple draft picks next year, so should be slightly improved next year, but it'll be the 2023 class where we hopefully see the Hung Like Hernandez team turn it around. Coming in at number 12, also at 3-10, would be the Here Goes Nothing, Silliman's team. He comes in with a play-all record of 50-118-1, scoring 1,091 points on the season. He will be playing against the number 3 seed coming in this week. And again, playing for a draft pick. He has all his draft picks. Don't expect a victory here unless he wants to just play spoiler. But there's not much as far as seeding at the top. Those spots are pretty much in place already. So there's not much really to play for coming this week for Silliman's team, other than to lose to get a better draft pick. So we'll see what happens come week 14. The number 11 team also coming in at 3-10. We have a lot of teams with 3 wins or less. We've got 5 actually out of the 14. Stop order, 1,181 points scored, play-all record of 63-105-1. He's got a couple wins over a couple big teams early this year. For a minute, it looked like he was going to make the playoffs, but went on kind of a losing streak and wasn't able to recover. Still in a hunt for a very good draft pick. There's 5 teams all playing for that number 1. It looks like the Motor Boaters have it, but anything could happen. So stop order comes in at the number 11 spot. Number 10, straight out of Tomlin, Nate Jones' team. The difference between him and the 3 teams at 3-10 was the 1 tie that he got this week. He tied Motor City. So he, instead of sitting at 3-10, he gets the 3-9-1, which in essence kind of hurt him a little bit. It would give him the 5 pick if it all ended today. Again, he's also going to play one of the top seeded teams this week, so we'll see if the win plays out or if he takes an L and gets a better draft pick. All these teams really, they'll put in the best lineup possible, but the chances are low, and honestly, they don't want to win. So 3-9-1, playoff record of 53, 114-2. Nate has struggled this year, but he does have Najee Harris, and when you got Najee Harris, you're going to get a top 5 draft pick next year. He'll have something nice to put with him. So playing for next year. So that is the number 10 pick, Nate Jones. Coming in at number 9 is Show Me the Money. That's Jared Barton. He's sitting at 6-7. Couple tough losses put him in a spot where he was dancing on the teetering on the brink of whether he was going to make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. Sitting at 6-7. By all accounts, the way I think I figured it out, I think he's eliminated from the playoffs. He's only scored 1202 on the season, so he's even if there was a tiebreaker, I think he would lose out on the tiebreaker. But I'm not even sure that a tiebreaker is inevitable or is possible for him. Because the team above him is 7-6, he's 6-7. The other one is 7-5-1. So even if the 7-6 lost and he won to 7-7, the point totals just don't add up for him to get there. Again, I could be wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure I have it figured out to where literally 2 teams are playing for that final playoff spot. So coming in at 9 is Barton's team. At 6-7, Show Me the Money. The number now I'm gonna switch now, and I've counted down the 7 teams that I don't think are gonna make the playoffs. Now I'm gonna switch, and I'm just gonna jump right to the top. Instead of counting backwards all the way, we're gonna start at 1 and work our way down, so that way we can figure out who's playing in and who's not playing in. Number 1 hasn't changed in several weeks. Chaos 12-1, hasn't lost since the opening week. He's number 1 in scoring by about 28 points over the Chicago Fire. So he's got that point lead. And even though the Fire is not even in the tiebreaker conversation, Champ's back would be in that conversation, and he is nearly 100 points behind. So it looks like Chaos has that 1 seed pretty much locked up, unless tragedy strikes this week and he falls off a cliff and Champ scores a gazillion points. So it looks like the 1 seed, the bye, would belong to Farrell, sitting at 12-1 right now. He has a matchup against the Motorboaters this week, again, who's doesn't have a fantastic lineup to put in. So by all accounts, this is almost a done deal. He has a playoff record of 135-34. Which is second best in the league at a percentage of 0.799, so 80%. He's going to win 80% of his games against anybody in the league. That's a pretty good playoff record. Great season for Farrell. We'll see how long the run takes him. So that's the number 1 team, Chaos. Like I said, pretty much got the number 1 seed locked up. We'll see what happens week 14. Number 2 team, Champ's back. Comes at 11-2. It's a game behind Chaos, but again, like I said before, he is literally 11, 88, 89 points behind him. So it would have to be a miracle week in order for him to catch him, to win, have Chaos lose, and catch him in the points. So it's pretty much a done deal for Chaos to have that number 1 seed. Champ is locked into at least the 2 seed because the other teams are a couple games behind him at that. He scored 1,589 points, which is 3rd in the league. Playoff record of 118-51, win percentage of 69.8%. Quite a difference from Farrell's 80%. But that's the number 2 team. Champ is back. Coming at number 3 is the Chicago Fire at 9-4, 1,649 points, second in the league. On scoring, playoff record of 136-33, winning percentage of 80.5%. Just had a couple untimely losses against inferior teams at the wrong times, and a couple of them other ones were traded into. Thanks, Bergie. And but He's sitting at 9-4. There's no way to win a division. So he's out of that. He's sitting ahead of everybody else. When I say he, it's me. Sitting ahead of everybody else for that 4 seed. So the division winners will get 1, 2, 3. Chicago Fire's locked into the 4 spot, regardless of what happens this week. There's literally nothing that can change it. The future could win theirs, go to 9-5. Chicago could lose 9-5. The point differential is like 300. So it's pretty much the 4 seed is for Chicago Fire. 4 seed in the playoffs, but number 3 in the rankings for this week. Number 4 in the rankings is Belichick. It really came on. He struggled there early in the season, finishing. He's 9-4 right now. Has a trying to close out that division that's still not locked up. Future still is in the hunt, although it would take an absolute miracle at this point because of the point differential. Belichick would have to lose. Future would have to win. The point differential is about 128. So the division's pretty much locked up for Depew in that division. So he should draw the number 3 seed come playoff time. So pretty much the 1, 2, 3, 4 are all set, barring any kind of miracle. Belichick 15-17 in scoring, which clicks in at 4th. It looks like 4th in scoring. Playoff record of 120-49, winning percentage of 71%, which actually clicks in at higher than the champ. Ironically, that sits 2 games higher. So, it just tells you where the luck factors come in for Noel this year. So that's the number 4 team. Number 5 teams come out of nowhere. Future DRF Peterman. At one point, I wouldn't have gave him a chance in hell of making the playoffs. But he's been on fire, literally almost beat me the other week. Has come on and, is definitely put himself in a good spot. He is not locked into a position at 5. He could finish, looks like 5, 6, or 7. 5, 6. Yeah, could finish anywhere 5, 6, or 7. So, all depends on what he does this week. The point differentials for the next few teams is literally within like 4. so it's pretty close for all those teams. He's sitting at 8-5 right now, which he has that a little advantage on him. Playoff record of 101-68, win percentage of 59.8%. 1389 is the points total. So that's where he's sitting at, coming in at number 5. The next 2 are the number 6 and 7 teams. We've mentioned the 6th team. I'm sorry, we're going to go with the 6th team next. The 6th team is the Motor City Machine Guns. Took the tie this week. The tie actually helped them. We're Future sitting at 1389 and an 8-5 record. Motor City sitting at 7-5-1, has more points at 1398.5. But he's locked Barton right out of the playoffs with that tie, because now he has that 1.5 game lead. So he has literally locked himself into the playoffs and leaving only 1 spot up in the air to be played for. So the tie helped him. The tie hurt him as he lost a spot to Future, but it did help him in locking out. At least he didn't take the loss, and he locked Barton out of the playoffs. So the tie between Straight Outta Tomlin and Motor City effectively eliminated Barton from the playoffs this year. So that's number 6. The 7 and 8 teams playing this week are playing for that last playoff spot. You've got a River Rat sitting at 7 and 6, and you have the Show Me Your TDs Bergie's team sitting at 7 and 6. One of those teams is going to go to 8 and 6. And one of those teams could literally jump ahead of Future, could jump ahead of Motor City just with the win. The other one is going to get knocked out at 7 and 7, because even with a loss to Motor City, he would drop to 7, 6, and 1. And yes. So River Rats would get, if River Rats won, whoever wins is going to get their 8th win of the year. Whoever lost is going to be eliminated with their 7th loss. So I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work out. It is literally down to the River Rats and Show Me Your TDs for the last playoff spot. As far as who's going to win, I mean, that is definitely up in the air. It seems how most people are just playing for bragging rights. these two are going to be playing for, literally a playoff spot a week early. So as of right now, when you look at the lineups, Bergie's got Josh Allen with Jacobs and Montgomery. He's running with Hunter Renfrow, who's getting about 5 catches minimum per game. Michael Gallup, looks like he's got KJ Osborne in there, which is not a bad play. With Minnesota having a bunch of their receivers banged up, Dawson Knox in at tight end. You look on the other side of the aisle there, and the River Rats are starting Matt Stafford. Nick Chubb has Mark Ingram in there, even though I'm pretty sure that will change at some point, because I think Mark Ingram will not probably get the start. I think as of right now, when I've heard Kamara will be coming back, so look for Paxi to make a change there. Got Stephon Diggs, Mike Evans, Darnell Mooney, and Noah Fant at the tight end spot. As far as that other spot that they can fill, he's got options that he could play. Devontae Smith's on a bye. Corey Davis is injured, so those two are out. But I heard Melvin Gordon potentially could be back. If he's not back, then you're really like reaching maybe for an AJ Green or Bryan Edwards, because the combination of buys and injuries don't leave a lot to be desired for that last spot. Maybe you run Mark Ingram, and maybe they use Mark Ingram and Kamara, but that could be the weak spot for them. Where the weak spot for Bergie's team could be that KJ Osborne spot. But he's got Russell Gage on the bench, who, if you've paid attention, has been really tearing it up. Traquan Smith's been tearing it up. He's got a couple options that he could go to should he not decide to ride with KJ Osborne. So those are the rankings for this week. It's a short, quick one. Wasn't quite sure what show I wanted to run today, and if we wanted to get other people involved. Next week we'll do the playoff show, and we'll see who's going to the playoffs and who's going to make a run. This year it's Abe, ABE, anybody but Edlinger. He's won 3 out of 4. We don't want him to win, so there's 6 other teams I'm rooting for other than him. You're my partner, you're my boy, but definitely don't want you to win this year. So Abe, that's going to be our motto for the league. Anybody but Edlinger, and good luck to the other 6 teams that are going to make the playoffs this year. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening, guys. This is Richard Keck and All Things Fantasy Football. Have a good day.